Hello and welcome to Synergy Vibration Energy News. A little bit late, obviously, due to YouTube still having problems uploading there. Maybe due to the number of subscribers and the number of thumbs up and shares. So if you are watching this video, please share, give us a thumbs up, and also subscribe to the channel. It will help us with getting this information out. So without further ado, let's get on with this week's vibrations. So this is the sun. This was taken a couple of days ago. As we can see, there's nothing in the way of coronal holes, so there won't be much in the way of geometric storms coming our way. But down in the bottom right-hand corner, you can just see a really bright light. That's a little tiny sunspot that's just going out of our view at the moment. And in this view here, we can see that there's not much in the way of filaments, magnetic filaments. So this new little sunspot on the right hand side that you can see down the bottom could be the starting of the new solar cycle that's coming up. This is what's going on with the Earth's magnetic field. As we can see, everything is as calm as anything, and it's certainly not a calm before the storm. But are we being watched? When I look at the sun, I often see faces in the sun. Or is it just me? Maybe the sun is looking down to see what happens with us. So before we all get paranoid about the sun watching us, let's just get on to the chakra system on the Earth before we look at the earthquakes. You're more than welcome to stop it, the video, and study it a little bit further. So this was the earthquakes that was last Sunday, and I'd just like to notice something, that there's a lot of earthquakes up in the northern hemisphere heading up into the North Pole, but this is quite interesting. So let's see the next slide. This is the next day. This is the Monday, and you can see that the earthquakes have all moved to the southern hemisphere now, and this oscillating rhythm will gradually slow down. So it's moved back up to the northern hemisphere, but not so high as the ones that were on Sunday, and then gradually, as that will come back down into the central region, you get a little bit more in the southern hemisphere that's happening there, and it's not much happening up in the sacrum area, so that's sort of calmed down during the week. And we can see the earthquakes breaking out across the rest of the world, going around Africa and heading up into the heart chakra as well. So this is the break-off point where that oscillation slows down, and then we're back into the equator zone, nothing really happening in vast areas, as it were, in one particular area or another. And then on the last day, this is on Friday, on Saturday, we start seeing the earthquakes hitting the root and the sacrum chakras. Now there is a reason behind all of this. And this is because we're coming up to the equinox. It is the moment when the Earth is squared off to the sun. Obviously you have the equinox in autumn and also in spring. It's the moment where everybody across the world usually gets roughly around about 12 hours of sunlight and 12 hours of night. Then obviously you have your solstice in the winter and summer, which is completely the other way. And this is what's happening to the Earth's vibration, and you're probably feeling it as well. So before we start going into what's happening this week and what's happening next week, let's just see what happened last week. If I remember rightly, I was talking about problems in the throat, eyes and ears section, and in my healings this week with clients, I had nothing but that. It was quite extraordinary, quite amazing really. I shouldn't really be surprised. It's been happening over the last sort of 20 years doing this sort of stuff, and it's becoming so obvious. I can see it coming from a mile away, you know. The other thing that was quite interesting, that there was out of the 18 people that I had, it was pretty quiet this week, but 18 people that I had this week, I had sort of 12, 14 of them that were Scorpios. So obviously last week Scorpio was a major thing. It was your time apparently, and this is what's coming down the road, barreling down the road. So as we saw with the earthquakes, we saw the vibration going from the northern hemisphere down to the southern hemisphere, going back up to the equator, gently drifting up to the northern hemisphere, going gently back to the southern hemisphere, and it's gradually going back down. into the equator, and then it broke out, and then it started hitting to the root and the sacrum chakras. And this is what's coming along this week. So I'd call it a limbo week. This is where everything starts to calm down before the transition of the equinox. And the equinox, as explained earlier on, is all about the time when the Earth actually positions itself squared off to the sun. It is a real moment of pause in the vibration. So during this period, certainly within the northern hemisphere, we should be looking at sort of sorting things out, sifting through information, working out what you want to do, reconnecting with your body, going for sort of spas and stuff like that, maybe massages, working out what you've been doing, certainly for Scorpio and Libras, and also Sagittarius as well. Should be really getting into those sort of ideas of what have I been doing for the year, what do I want to stop, what do I want to start new, what I want to get moving on, what plans you want to do. Work it out inside your spirit before you actually pass action. And then when your birthday turns up, that's when you head off. That's when you start putting in place the foundations for those plans for the future. So this is a real limbo week, and the Earth's vibration is like this. It's calming down. So in the international scene, you will not see a lot of massive statements and confrontational sort of stuff that we've seen. I didn't put on the star positionings. There is no alignments coming up in the coming week. Everything tends to be a little bit more scattered all over the place. And this will be a little bit true for this limbo week. So you may feel that nothing really is going quickly, nothing is moving on very fast. I've heard some people talk about a paradigm shift. That's not really true. This happens once every 3 months. There is obviously a shift in energy, but it's not a paradigm shift. That it is a galactic paradigm shift. This happens every 3 or 4 months. So it's nothing to sort of really to get too excited about, but it is a moment of pause in one's life. So just take it easy, take time out, take time with the family, would be a good thing to do, and with friends, and just work on sort of plans for the future, hunkering down for winter. In the southern hemisphere, it's slightly different. You've got your springtime kicking off. So this is where you should have had in place your foundations for your plans for the future for this coming year. And this is where you should start seeing those foundations starting to create shoots and nurturing of those plans for the coming year. So don't forget, pay attention to them, nurture them, feed your ideas and your wants and your needs properly with your spirit and the vibration that is all around you. As I say, I've been having problems with YouTube trying to upload these videos. I have several other videos that I've been trying to upload as well. And we're going to be talking about sacred energy or male and female energy. We're also going to be talking about tree energy, which would be really nice. And we'll get fully on into all of that and all the conversations and what we can do with introducing it into our synergy of being. So, so at the moment, it is a moment, a week of limbo. This may create problems with tension. So you could have you can have hypertension and drop in tension. Watch out for your sugar levels and things like that. Look after your blood. That's a good thing for this week. For Capricorns going through to Pisces, you should be looking now to sort of finishing off the plans that you've had for the year, from Pisces right through to Cancer. You should be looking at really getting into the summer of looking at starting to get the fruits from your year. And then from Pisces through to Virgo, you should be really concentrating now, really full on your foundations for the plans coming up. Okay, so that's the vibration at the moment. Keep an eye out. Don't forget, subscribe. Come on to our Facebook page as well, Synergy of Being. But please do subscribe to this, thumbs up and share as well, which is really important. Okay, in the meantime, I will see you all again next week. Make sure you remember that it should be fun. It should be a laugh. Life, although it may be difficult, it is still fantastic. And when it's great, it's fantastic. It is amazing. So please do enjoy.